In 1987, in a dusty rural village outside Lahore, the price of a young child's entire freedom was fixed at a mere $12, 600 rupees. This crushing sum was the exact amount Iqbal's family desperately needed to pay for his older brother's wedding, a heavy burden that forced his father into an impossible corner. With no other way to survive extreme poverty, his father did the only thing desperation allowed. He bound his 4-year-old son to a local carpet weaver as a bonded laborer. From that fateful morning onward, little Iqbal no longer belonged to his mother or his home. He was legally and physically chained to a dark, suffocating loom. For 6 grueling days a week, 14 agonizing hours a day, Iqbal sat cramped on a hard wooden bench, chained tightly to prevent any thought of escape. The room was thick with floating, choking wool fibers that coated his lungs, lit only by a dim, flickering oil lamp that did nothing to pierce the heavy gloom. Whenever his tiny, blistered fingers fumbled or the complex knot weaving slowed down, the heavy iron tools of the trade were brutally used to strike his aching back. His daily nourishment was reduced to a meager handful of puffed rice and a single cup of murky water, starving his body of essential nutrients and sunlight. He grew up trapped in that windowless room, his small bones painfully twisting and his physical growth permanently stunted by relentless malnutrition. By the time he reached 12 years old, he possessed the frail, fragile body of a 6-year-old toddler, but he carried the haunted, heavy eyes of an old man who had witnessed the absolute worst of human cruelty. But the ruthless factory owners could never truly chain his brilliant mind. Iqbal eventually learned a dangerous secret. The Pakistani government had officially declared bonded labor entirely illegal. Under the law, the ancient debts used to hold children captive were completely void, though the greedy weavers kept this vital truth hidden from their young slaves. Driven by a desperate hope, 10-year-old Iqbal made his first daring attempt to run away, slipping out into the night, only to be betrayed by the local authorities. Instead of protecting the abused child, the local police took a heavy bribe from the wealthy factory owner, dragged Iqbal back to the compound, and subjected him to a vicious punishment. Even after being beaten worse than ever before, an unstoppable fire had been ignited deep inside his soul, giving him the courage to try a second time. This time, he did not run blindly into the dark. He walked straight to the headquarters of the Bonded Labor Liberation Front, seeking out activist Ahsan Ullah Khan. Standing bravely in front of a stunned crowd, the young boy raised his high, steady voice to expose the horrific, hidden truths of the carpet weaving dens. With those brave words uttered to the public, the broken child who had spent his life as a slave was instantly transformed into a fearless liberator. Armed with his newfound legal freedom and fierce determination, Iqbal refused to hide or run away. Instead, he courageously went back into the danger zone. He sneaked covertly into the very factories where he had once been imprisoned, secretly mapping out the layouts, gathering undeniable evidence, and helping launch sudden raids to free thousands of captive children. His extraordinary courage quickly captured the attention of the global community, leading him to travel across international borders to receive the prestigious Reebok Human Rights Award. Standing before massive Western audiences in a crisp white shalwar kameez, his tiny physical stature contrasted sharply with the immense, earth-shaking gravity of his spoken words. With unwavering poise, he looked the world in the eye and declared his mission, refusing to be silenced by fear or intimidation. He boldly told them, "I am one of those millions of children who are suffering through bonded labor, but I want to be a lawyer. I want to fight for them." His powerful testimony brought a corrupt, multi-billion-dollar export industry crashing to its knees as shocked consumers across Europe and America stopped buying carpets stained with child sweat. The powerful carpet mafia was suddenly losing millions of dollars in revenue every single month, and they knew precisely who was responsible for their financial ruin. It was April 16, 1995, a bright, serene Easter Sunday, and Iqbal had returned safely to his home village of Muridki to visit his beloved mother. For one rare, peaceful afternoon, he was finally allowed to step away from the heavy burdens of his activism and simply be a normal 12-year-old boy. Laughing joyfully in the warm spring sunshine, he rode a bicycle down a dusty rural path alongside his young cousins through the open fields. He was a major threat to an entrenched empire of pure greed, and the corrupt forces of exploitation had decided that his dangerous defiance could no longer be tolerated. Suddenly, a hidden assassin stepped out from a thicket of tall wild grass, leveling a deadly shotgun toward the unsuspecting child. A single, deafening blast shattered the tranquil afternoon quiet, instantly ripping through the open air and striking Iqbal directly in the chest. He fell instantly into the dusty soil of his homeland, his young life ending abruptly as his blood soaked into the very earth he had fought so hard to heal. He was only 12 years old when his breathing stopped, silenced forever by those who feared the unstoppable power of his unyielding voice. The ruthless industrialists believed that by brutally murdering the boy, they could permanently destroy the entire human rights movement he had built. They were entirely wrong. Their cowardly act did not extinguish the fire. It only poured fuel onto a blazing global outrage. More than 800 grieving people walked together through the pouring rain to lay Iqbal to rest, while millions more across the world stepped up to carry his heavy torch forward. His tragic and untimely death triggered an unprecedented international outcry that permanently rewrote global labor regulations and protective trade laws. New schools were established globally in his honorable name, and the international community finally opened its eyes to the invisible children hiding behind luxury commodities. Iqbal Masih lived a heartbreakingly short life that could be measured in fewer than 5,000 days, spending the vast majority of them trapped in heavy iron chains. Yet, he ultimately died completely and utterly free, leaving behind an immortal legacy that successfully shattered the generational shackles for thousands of children yet to come. His unbreakable thread continued to weave a brand new future, ensuring that his sacrifice would forever light the path toward true human dignity.